Hello guys, Flanker is here. In this guide I will share everything you need to know about cooking and its potential as a way to make gold in New World. This video will be helpful for players who are looking for more money making options, those who can spend a lot of time playing, and those who don't like monotonous grind. In my opinion, cooking is a really underrated trade skill with multiple decent benefits. First of all, it is the easiest skill to power level in game. Secondly, cooking doesn't require a lot of time or gold investments to make profit, so pretty much any player can do it. Thirdly, there is a lot of different food and ingredients that can be crafted, so it is possible to find your niche even on high populated servers. Before we start, I would appreciate if you spend a moment of your time to support my channel with your like and subscription. To unlock your hidden cooking talents, you might need to do a couple of things. First of all, make sure that your cooking level is 200. I'm sure that many players have already achieved that. This will not only allow you to use all possible recipes, but also increase the chance to obtain additional items while cooking by 20%. If your cooking level is not 200 yet, just buy the cheapest ingredients on Trading Post and craft light, satisfying and hearty meals. It is relatively cheap to get level 200 comparing to other trade skills, and you can get some money back by selling hearty meals. Now, apart from that, you also need to get 3 major cooking trophies. Fortunately, the rare components for both basic and major trophies are usually cheap. Instead of buying trophies on the Trading Post, I recommend you to collect all the resources and ask someone with 200 furnishing to craft them for you. In this case, it will be much cheaper than buying them on Trading Post. Having these trophies is mandatory because each one increases your chance to craft bonus items by 30%, which makes it 90% in total. The next thing that you need is a set for cooking and earring with cooking mastery perk. Each piece provides another 4% bonus to craft extra items. Now, some parts of the set, such as pants and shirt, might be very expensive now and not worth purchasing. But anyway, make sure to buy at least the cheapest parts. In my case, I have everything except the shirt. One more thing that you might want to keep an eye on is a down buff called Chef's Passion. It's not really significant because it only provides a 2.5% bonus to craft extra items, but if you have an option to choose where to cook, then it's better to do it in a settlement with this buff, especially if you're planning to craft expensive food. Finally, the last thing that you need is obviously cooking recipes. Fortunately, the majority of them is very cheap now, so it shouldn't be a problem to buy them. But prior to that, you need to know which exactly food you will be cooking for sale, and we're gonna talk about it a little later. Alright, so let's start with the basics. Take a look at these 4 types of light and travel rations. Even though it's the lowest tier food, there is still a demand for them because they are required for town board quests. Even level 60 players, including myself, still complete them to increase their territory standing level. But nobody really wants to bother himself, and players mostly just buy them from the Trading Post. These rations are very easy to craft. All you need to do is to buy the cheapest ingredients, and that's about it. I spent 15 gold to buy 100 nuts, turned them into more than 200 light rations, and this will allow me to make around 300 gold in like 30 seconds. You can do the same with all 4 types of rations, just make sure to check their price on the Trading Post first. Also, don't put a lot of them on market because someone might undercut the price. It's better to place sell orders for 100 of each for 1 day and update them when necessary. Let's move forward and take a look at compound ingredients. Many players are not bothering themselves with crafting and just buy these ingredients from the Trading Post. From my experience, the highest demand is for butter, cooking oil, flour, pastry crust, and seasoning blend. The components to craft them are usually cheap, but in any case we mostly make our profit because of high chance to craft additional items. Let me show you some examples. Flour is usually around 1.5 to 2 gold on my server, and you need 2 corns to craft it. Technically, I can even buy corn on a Trading Post and still make profit because of the cooking bonus that I have. But the best option here will be placing a buy order for corn, because in this case I can reduce my expenses in more than 2 times. For example, let's say I buy 1000 corn for 0.25 gold each, which is pretty common. 1000 corn is equal to 500 crafts, and with my current bonus, the expected amount of flour that I get is 1160. After selling flour for, let's say, 1.3 gold each, which is the current price, I will get around 1500 gold. Now, 1500 minus 250 of initial expenses is equal to 1250 gold profit. Obviously, we also have to take into account the taxes and the fact that it might take a couple of days to sell sell it, but it is only one item and you can do the same with many others. In addition to that, crafting takes a few seconds and checking your buy and sell orders only takes a couple of minutes. You can and actually should do the same calculations with any other food or cooking ingredients to find out what is better to craft. Here is another example. To cook bread, you need 1 yeast and 1 flour. You already know how to get cheap flour, and the price of yeast is 0.02. So right now I can easily turn some flour into bread with another crafting bonus and put it on market. One more example, let's take a look at seasoning blend. You need 3 different seasonings to craft it, and for that purpose you can use the cheapest herbs. As you can see, some of the herbs are really dirt cheap and you can also use honey instead of one of them. Same approach applies to all other compound ingredients, and also keep in mind a couple of things. Firstly, you can increase your profit by reducing expenses, and this can be achieved by placing cheap buy orders for the cooking ingredients that you need. Secondly, don't put too many resources or food on market right away. It's better to place 1-day sell orders for the quantity of resources that can be realistically sold within that day. In this case, you won't spend more gold for taxes, and at the same time you will be able to update your sell orders if someone undercuts the price. And finally, keep in mind that the situation on the trading post is constantly changing, so make sure to keep an eye on the prices. Some food might be worth crafting today, but after a couple of days, not anymore, and the next week it may be profitable again. Let's move forward and take a look at the food for crafting. Obviously, you only need recipes that increase the gear score of the crafted items by 15, others are useless. From my experience, food for armoring, jewel crafting and engineering usually sells much better than food for weaponsmithing and arcana. But if the prices are high and you haven't reached the limit of 100 orders on the trading post, then you can sell them too. Just make sure to calculate your expenses and expected profit. For example, I noticed that the price for armoring food is now high, so I bought the ingredients that I didn't have in my storage and cooked some for sale. I'm sure that it will be sold today because the town buff for armoring is activated in 2 settlements at the moment. You can check those buffs in Windsward, Everfall and Brightfoot because they will affect the demand for this type of food. Now, there are 4 types of food for all gathering activities except fishing that provide a 2000 luck bonus. The highest demand is obviously for mining food because all best orichalcum, star metal and platinum roots are being farmed like 24/7. The price for it is average now, so I will craft some and put it on the trading post for sale. Food for skinning and logging also has a relatively decent demand, but food for harvesting, not really. But once again, if nobody sells it or the price is high, then you can cook it and see how long will it take to sell. During the winter event, the demand for food with attribute bonuses was relatively low because it could be bought for winter tokens. Many players are still selling the event food on trading post, but its price keeps going up. In addition to that, it only gives 33 attribute points and not 40. So which types of food are the best to craft? First of all, the food that gives plus 40 points to a single attribute. However, the food for strength, dexterity, intelligence and focus require a legendary fish that is not that easy to get. This makes a plus 40 constitution food an absolute bestseller because it requires sumptuous rabbit instead of a legendary fish, and because everyone needs constitution. Sumptuous rabbit can be either bought or farmed without any difficulties. I have a video about it on my channel, so you might consider watching it. In addition to that, the demand for this food now is much higher than it used to be because of dungeon mutations. Another option here is to craft food that gives 40 attribute points in total, but 24 to one stat and 16 to another. You can see a couple of examples on your screen now. The most important thing here is to make sure that the combination of attributes is relevant, so don't cook food, for example, with dexterity and focus attributes because nobody will buy it. The best option here is any attribute combined with constitution. You may also consider crafting some food with intelligence plus focus attributes, put it on the trading post and see how it goes. If this video was helpful, please leave a like and consider subscribing for more gold making tips. I am Flanker and I wish you luck in Aeternum.